So many stories, so much of emotions, all sort of actions are available. And all that emotions that people go through in their life is available in Mahabharata. And people love it. Because after all, everyone in Kali Yuga is a Shudra. Kalau Shudra Sambhava. So naturally, you see, look at, just by observing people around, you'll understand what category we belong to. Therefore, in the age of Kali Yuga, everyone belong to these three categories. Yes, everyone. So aisa nahi ki only this category is less intelligent. Everyone belongs to this category of being less intelligent. But then one thing is very clear, when it comes to Matajis, they have plus point with these three things. But when it comes to training, and I would like to mention about training, that is very important. See, in the Vedic system, each one has a role to play. Each one. So Matajis have their role to play. Prabhujis have their role to play. The Shudras have their role to play, and so on. And everyone, based on their psychophysical nature, they're supposed to execute their duties. So men have got something called as Varna Dharma and Ashram Dharma. So Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi, and Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So this is meant for all the men. They are supposed to follow these duties. For Matajis, there's something called Stri Dharma that is mentioned in Shastra. Even Bhagavatam talks about Stri Dharma. So based on psychophysical nature, our Shastras describe these duties very nicely. Now, the females in the house, they were given a very important service. You will see the house in which a female is not there, that house will be naturally very dirty. And that house will naturally, people will separate. They'll not be able to stay together. Because females have this quality, by their emotions, they can bind the family and keep them together. That's the quality, and that's the responsibility also. So this training of how to bind the family and keep them together was trained in the house itself by mothers. They were not sent to Gurukuls. It was not needed. The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, they were sent to Gurukul. Shudras were not sent to Gurukul. The Shudras were expected to serve the other three. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Now, what is the result? The result is, if the Stri is following Stri Dharma and say she is married to a very elevated husband and has got a very bona fide guru, she has to just follow and serve these personalities. And naturally, she will go to the same destination where the husband is going. That's what's Pati Lok. Now, Pati Lok can be Vaikuntha, or it can be Swarga, or it can be anything. That's what is Pati Lok. Where did she go? She went to Pati Lok. Wherever Pati went, she went there. So this is the glory of following Stri Dharma. When I was speaking this, some Mataji was very happy. She was saying that, Prabhuji, whatever my husband does, spiritual activity, I'll get 100% result. I said, yes, it gets duplicated. But what I do, what about that? I said, that will remain with you. Oh, thank God. Very nice, Mataji, very nice. So this is the thing that is mentioned in Shastra, that whatever the husband does, if the wife is humbly serving the husband, provided the husband is also qualified, what happens is, she becomes qualified, even if she does not practice bhakti. If she is just faithfully serving the husband, she becomes qualified to attain the same destination as that of husband. So this also goes on to say, all the men, if they consider themselves to be more intelligent, they have a very, very big responsibility of maintaining very high level of purity and raising their consciousness to a very high levels. Therefore, especially when we train unmarried boys, we always tell them that if you are able to raise your consciousness to a higher level, then only get married. Or else don't spoil the life of the female and the kids in future. Because the head of the family, he has got a great responsibility. You know what? Anyone does any sinful activity in the family, 1/6 of that goes to the person. Free mein. It's free. Whatever sins he does, obviously he has to suffer. But anyone in the family does any sinful activity, 1/6 goes to that person, head of the family. So he should have the power to nullify that by spiritual practices. So therefore, the advantage is just serve the superiors and go back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, they were not sent to Gurukul. There was no need to send to Gurukul because based on their psychophysical nature, they were given a certain thing to do. But see now, unfortunately, in the age of Kali, what's happening? We don't want to follow our psychophysical nature. We want to compete. But obviously, there is no doubt that even the men have degraded to a great level. So the females have come out. They have to do their activities now to protect themselves and do various different things. But this is what is expected in the Vedic culture. Very, very important to note. And you know what? Only by doing Garbhadhana Sanskar, Prabhupada writes this in the purport, only by doing Garbhadhana Sanskar, we will have qualified people to study the Vedic scriptures. All the Vedic scriptures which we saw just now, the entire chart, they'll be qualified to study. Because they are the ones who are invited by praying that, oh Lord, please send a divine soul in our family. So everyone sitting here, we have to note this point. If at all ISKCON has to grow and expand, and if at all the prophecy has to come true, anyways the prophecy will come true, no doubt. But the way the prophecy is going to come true is through the establishment of Varnashrama Dharma, Varnashrama system. And that will happen only when Garbhadhana Samskars will start. It's a very, very important thing. So all the unmarried boys and girls, they have to get trained, and all the couples who got newly married and planning to beget children, they are supposed to prepare themselves for Garbhadhana Samskar. And all the senior leaders in the congregation, because brahmacharis are not supposed to dive deep into understanding what's Garbhadhana Samskar. So Grahastha devotees are expected. All the senior leaders in the congregation, all the Bhakti Vriksha leaders, SS, CS, everyone is expected to study what is Garbhadhana Samskar. They might have not done that, but at least they should have the knowledge, and they should propagate that knowledge in the congregation. As of now, you know what is happening? We have only few people who have knowledge of Garbhadhana Samskar. So now when some boys get married and they come to me, Prabhuji, so whom should I contact? So we actually don't know whom to connect. We have only few here and there. So everyone should know what it is. Maybe if needed, we should have seminars, and everyone should have a complete knowledge of what is Garbhadhana Samskar. And people in general should be trained. Kids in future should be trained. Now some parents will think, anyways, hamara time to chala gaya. No. You are expected to train your son or daughter when they are going to beget children. You are supposed to train. That's how the value of the elders in the family increases with time, when they contribute like this in the family. And if you don't have kids begotten by Garbhadhana Samskar, we'll have tough time in preaching. Tough time. At least we are having tough time doing youth preaching. So much contamination. When it comes to boys, so much of contamination. I was just speaking to someone a couple of days back. And I was expecting that this boy will now shift to the base. He'll start doing various angas of bhakti very strictly and all that. So when I was talking to him, then he was saying that, Prabhuji, मैं तो base में चला जाऊँगा, मेरी girlfriend का क्या होगा फिर? And it's very normal. It's very normal. So it's very, very difficult. Then I thought maybe only the boys are contaminated category. Then I spoke to the head of the Vaishnavi forum, the elderly Mataji, who is married. So I asked, so Mataji, how are things in Vaishnavi forum going? She said, same contamination here also. Same contamination. And can you imagine if you don't propagate this knowledge and this live-in relationship and all continues, and where they're changing partners every night, what do you think, what sort of kids will take birth? We'll have avatars of Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Shishupal, Dantavakra around us. Anyways, we see many already, but we will find many more. So therefore, the responsibility, if you really want to do something with society, especially our society, ISKCON as a society, we're supposed to get educated. I'm talking about Grahasthas. But what is Garbhadhana Samskar? And take active interest in that and propagate the knowledge. Without that, sorry to say, we'll just move towards destruction. Our preaching will not evolve and enhance. Not possible. So this is the point that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning. Garbhadhana Samskar kids are the ones who will be able to do the needful in the society. Now specifically, these qualities that I mentioned about the Matajis, which are acting as not on the negative side, but actually they are acting on a very great positive side. Like for example, they naturally entrust faith. And by Lord's mercy, if they get the right personality as Guru and the right elevated husband, when they invest the faith, they'll invest it completely and they'll be able to advance very quickly. Second, what about emotions? As soon as the female categories, they start practicing bhakti. For them, it's very easy to connect with the Lord when they read the different pastimes and all that. And the men keeps, they're scratching their head how to understand this particular subject matter. Like for example, Mother Yashoda's feelings for Krishna. Now men have never fed milk to the kids. Now only females can understand what is that feeling. So they can easily connect. And strong attachments. If at all they develop attachment to Krishna, that will be very strong. That will be very strong. Naturally, it will be very strong. And when it comes to the men in general, with their logical minds, they'll struggle to have this natural faith. They'll struggle to have nice emotions, favorable emotions towards the Lord. And they'll struggle to have strong attachment towards the Lord. Therefore, you'll see many men get stuck at the level of Brahman. Obviously, that doesn't mean that Matajis don't get stuck at Brahman. They also get stuck. But then in general, I'm just saying. So the point is, this category, less intelligent word that is used has to be understood very clearly in which context it is mentioned. And we preachers should be able to defend very properly, because this is not some statement given by someone. This is directly the statement of Vyasadeva. And that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam as a shloka. How can that go wrong? So that has to be defended very properly with the right perspective and a convincing way. So in conclusion, you see, Lord has not rejected anyone. He includes everyone. He encompasses everyone. And for everyone's benefit, He has given a Shastra. Therefore, here it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi, Swata Krishna Gyan, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Puran. The conditioned souls, they can never look at Krishna. They can never turn towards Krishna by their own. Not possible. Why? Because they're Maya Mugdha. They're always engrossed in sense gratification. Always illusioned. They cannot look at Krishna by their own selves, by their own effort. So by the causeless mercy of the Lord, Lord appears and He gives us the Vedic scriptures. And all categories of Vedic scriptures which we can connect to. You cannot connect to this Vedic scripture, no problem. Refer to this one. It's given. And every scripture that is given has the power to deliver us. And specifically Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the combination of the philosophy and pastime and everything that is needed. Therefore, everyone can connect to Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, we understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He never rejects anyone. He always includes everyone. And whenever we count what all things Lord does for us, it's very, very touching. Very, very touching. He is personally sitting as Paramatma in the heart. He descends as various different incarnations. He sends His own associates, go and get the living entities back, these conditioned living entities back. He is the one who appears as Nam Avatar. He is the one who appears as Archa Avatar, that is the deities. And He is the one who comes. And He, as Vyasadeva, He writes scriptures for all of us. And He manifests the Grantha Avatar, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. What else we need to express our gratitude towards Krishna? In fact, every aspect of a sadhaka's life is dependent on the Lord. Not just sadhaka, every living entity for that matter, but specifically sadhakas because they can see through Shastra that what actually it means. Therefore, when we are reading Shastra, and specifically when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other books given by Srila Prabhupada, we should remember all these different subject matters that we discussed today and understand if Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, we were expected to go through the sequential understanding of Shastra. Only few would have got admission into Gurukul, and those few would have studied, and that too for a long, long time to get proper understanding. What about people like us who are illiterate? We don't know Sanskrit. We don't know anything, about these Vedangas and Upavedas, etc., etc., etc. What would have happened to us? Therefore, the song, Jadi Prabhupada no hoito, tabe ki hoito, jivana bhayita kishe makes a lot of sense when you understand all these different subject matters. And with this gratitude in the heart, devotees study Srila Prabhupada's books. And with this gratitude in the heart, they go out on the street to distribute books of Srila Prabhupada. So just yesterday, day before yesterday, I was there with Srinidhi Prabhu and others to distribute books. So first time I thought that instead of speaking about Shastradan, instead of speaking about Gita Jayanti, etc., let me speak about Prabhupada and distribute books. I just wanted to experiment and see. So I used to take the book and I would tell them that we are on a marathon to distribute Gita. And here is our Acharya. I used to show the photo and then turn the book again. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is. He has made this book very, very special. And I used to open and show. He has given this English translation, English word to word meaning, explanation to apply in day-to-day life. He is that glorious personality who has made Bhagavad Gita famous all around the world. And to my amazement, so many books got distributed that day. Yes, that's the power of our Acharya. And when we speak about the glories of the Acharya, we will enhance our Krishna consciousness. We'll be able to maintain our consciousness. And when we glorify the Acharya, we'll get connected to him strongly. Therefore, all the book distributors who are stepping out on the street, ideally everyone should step out. But then those who are the missionaries, who are Prabhupada's soldiers, who are going out on the street to distribute books, speak about Prabhupada, speak about the glories of the book that Prabhupada has given us. And surely that will connect us to Prabhupada and enhance our Krishna consciousness. So let's express our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada by reading his books every day and distributing his books. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.